please rise for a moment of silence? Here for our men and women. Correct. At this time, I want to make Mickey Gross lead us to the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag. Mr. Gross.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. The notice of this meeting pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, NJSA 10:4-10, has been complied with and shall be entered into the minutes of this meeting.
Roll call.
Freeholder Barrett, Freeholder Polos, Freeholder Rafano, Freeholder Rios.
Here.
Freeholder Scott. Here. Freeholder Valenti.
Here.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Here. On the freeholder reports, Freeholder Barrett is out and has another engagement to go to, and Chris Rufano's son's gonna be an award at the St. Joseph's High School tonight, so he's a proud father, seeing his son getting an award from St. Joseph's High School. At this time, we'd like to start with Ron Rehos. This is the first report from the freeholders. Ron?
Thank you, Director. As far as my education part of the report on the county college, opening of the fall 2009 semester was held on August 31st, and the State of the College address was given by the President in celebration also of our 45th year, which is a great accolade for our college. This academic year has begun with record enrollment, and our head count has increased overall for this year by 11.7%, and I credit that to a few things. One, the economy, and two, to the great college that we do have here in Middlesex County. I'm very proud of that. On October 9th, we will have our groundbreaking for the West Hall. As far as the Rutgers Extension Services, August 30th, we had open house, garden tours, and different things that were going on over there. On September 14th, we had our legislative tour. Quite a few elected officials were in attendance. The Secretary of Agriculture was in attendance. Some of our freeholders. We had a great time. It was a real eye-opener to really showcase our farms in Middlesex County. Map of Middlesex County farms was distributed throughout the county fair. Over 2,000 people received our map of our farms throughout Middlesex County. Our 4-H club continues to flourish, and we have we're participating in a food drive to benefit McFoods, and a lot of great things are happening over there. As far as our Raton Bay Mental Health Services, we continue to have a high demand for services, obviously because of the economy. We have collaborated with Tom Solheimer in the Human Services, and he has submitted an application to the Division of Child Behavioral Health Services for a startup grant in the amount of $77,000. I'd like to thank Tom and also Freeholder Valenti for working together to get this. Hopefully we will get awarded this grant. This will provide services to young children and their parents. It has been proven to be very helpful. As far as my health department report, I'd like to announce the Get Active, Eat Right, Be Healthy poster contest, and it's open to grades 3 through 6 throughout the county, and 12 winning entries will be printed in a 2010 calendar that will be distributed throughout the county. In addition, a few Elks organizations will be providing $50 U.S. savings bonds to the winners. So it's important that we try to promote Childhood Obesity Month this month. It's something that we have to educate a lot of people about. We're going to have a PowerPoint presentation on that. As far as an update on our seasonal flu clinics, we continue to provide the flu clinics throughout the county. We've given over 3,600 flu shots to various residents throughout the county, and 30 pneumonia shots have been administered. As far as the vocational school, Parents Back to School Night was held on September 22nd at all the campuses. We had over 900 guests that came and visited all 5 campuses throughout that evening. As far as our East Brunswick campus is concerned, we have had several school performing arts theater seniors that interned this summer for cake production in New York City, and it was very educational experience for our students. Our Academy for Allied Health and Biomedical Sciences Academy, to commemorate Constitution Day, history students assumed the roles of members of Congress, and they enjoyed that very much. And as far as the Mosquito Commission is concerned, a rain event occurred in early September, which caused breeding for some areas that needed to be sprayed with our helicopter, and our water mosquito species continued to decrease due to the decline in rain and continued progress in health and education. Thank you, Director.
Okay, that's it, Ron? Okay. Our next freeholder to make her report, Millie Scott from the town of Piscataway.
Thank you, Freeholder Director. As Chair of the Law and Public Safety Committee, I am recommending to the Board of Chosen Freeholders that a resolution be placed on tonight's agenda, terminating the contract with the U.S. Marshals Service governing the county's housing of federal detainees on behalf of Immigration and Customs Enforcement, ICE. As elected officials, it is our duty to serve the people and look for their best interests. By taking on additional responsibilities for with no additional compensation, as well as the increased liability as called for under the federal government's 287G program. The county would not be acting in the best interest of Middlesex County residents. We cannot and will not allow our taxpayers to take on this financial burden. Under 287G, county personnel assigned to immigration and customs enforcement duty would have to be trained at an out-of-state facility. The federal government would pay for the training, but would not pay for the officers' salaries while they are out of state. Nor would the federal government pay for any overtime necessary in these officers' absence. Any officers who undergo training and perform immigration and customs enforcement duties would be under direct supervision of the federal government. Therefore, this would cause a significant increase in overtime and staffing requirements. More importantly, the county opens itself up to a liability risk while these officers are performing the federal government's work. Again, the federal government will not cover these potential liability costs. I urge my freeholder colleagues to add this resolution to the agenda and recommend the termination of the ICE contract. Thank you.
Okay, we need a resolution now?
No, we'll be adding it later.
Later on, yeah, okay. Our next report from freeholder, Blanquita Valenti.
Thank you, Director. Before we get to the PowerPoint presentation, I just want to make a couple of short reports. One of them is that on Saturday there will be another Veterans Forum in South County, in South Brunswick. We had one in Woodbridge, the community center, recently to cover the north end and the center of the county, and the second one will be in South Brunswick, so we can reach that community. We were happy that there were some young veterans there that came back from Iraq and Afghanistan, and they had no idea that they were entitled to a number of services that currently are achievable because they were out of the country engaged in keeping our freedom. Also, I want to thank and give a lot of congratulations to the Department of Aging, which I chair. Our Executive Director, Peg Chester, did a fantastic job. We had our senior health and fitness walk last week at Roosevelt Park, and the location was the level playing fields. All the freeholders received one of these tonight, and these are the shirts that our participants wore. It was quite a gathering. 500 chairs were set up in the middle playing fields, in the level playing fields. And every one of them was taken, plus there were lots of people standing in the shade on the side. And it was quite a gathering, and we had volunteers from Rutgers University that helped us with the seniors and later handing out lunch boxes. There were a lot of services there that were provided, such as blood pressure taking, the screening by St. Peter's Hospital, the School of Pharmacy from Rutgers volunteers that were doing services for our seniors, plus a lot of other volunteers. And it was a great day, and WCTC was there the whole time with their DJ entertaining and helping us with this event. Again, Peg, to you and your staff, especially Andrea Bolton, who seems, I don't know where she gets her energy, but I know that the staff was there since before 8 o'clock in the morning that last Wednesday. It was a great day. Thank you, Peg. And last but not least, the New Jersey Statewide Hispanic Chamber of Commerce is having their annual conference and convention on the night. It's the 19th one, as a matter of fact, next week, October the 16th. The Hispanic market represents the fastest growing sector of the United States. In New Jersey, according to the U.S. Census figures, this segment has experienced an 87% growth in less than 10 years. In 2009, it is estimated there are over 70,000 Hispanic-owned businesses that support approximately 190,000 jobs, generating $10.5 billion in sales. And according to the last economic census, New Jersey has the 5th largest concentration of Hispanic-owned businesses in the nation, and it's expected to double in numbers by 2010. So we do have a proclamation that will be sent to them on this great event they're having next week. And now let me introduce Elliot White, who is the Director of Addiction and Services. Elliot, would you come forward?
Thank you, Freeholder Valenti, and good evening, members of the Freeholder Board. I'd like to bring up Rula Giorgio, our Municipal Alliance Coordinator. We are very happy to have an opportunity tonight to highlight one of the most dynamic programs that is conducted through the Department of Human Services, and that is our Municipal Alliance Program. For those of you not familiar with the Municipal Alliance concept, it is a part of the Governor's Council on Alcoholism and Drug Abuse, which was formed in 1989 as a result of the public laws of that time. Basically, what the Governor's Council does is coordinate all statewide prevention and education activities and treatment activities relative to addiction services. At the local level, it gives money to counties which manage local prevention efforts through the use of municipal alliances. And tonight we'd like to highlight some of those alliances for you. Very briefly, again, the Governor's Council is the statewide coordinating body of the Municipal Alliance Program. If you refer to your handouts that you have, page 1 will show you the organizational structure of the Municipal Alliance Program, starting at the Governor's Council level, coming down to you as the Board of Children Freeholders, into our Department of Human Services, where it is filtered through various other aspects of the organizational structure, down to the local level where the municipal programs, one in each town, conducts its own needs assessment to determine what activities it would like to conduct to address its own prevention and addictions problems, and it receives money through grants from the county to conduct those activities on an annual basis. And let me introduce Rula Giorgio to you, who will go into a bit more detail about what some of those programs are for you.
Thank you, Elliot.
Thank you, Rula.
Thank you. Good evening. Okay.
This slide right here represents a summary of the Municipal Alliance application process and the funding for 2010. As you can see on page 2 of your handout, you have a list of all of the municipalities that applied and the dollar amount, the state fund that they were eligible to apply for. That dollar amount is based on population size. We will be distributing approximately the $658,104 to those municipalities. The uniqueness of this grant is that it requires a 100% cash match, well, 100% match, 25% of which is cash and 75% of which is in kind. And you can see those dollar amounts. $172,000 will be coming from the locals in cash, and $640,000 will be in kind. If you will see that that number actually exceeds the 100% that is required. And that is the uniqueness of this program, that not only do the locals provide that in funding, but as well in the volunteers. We have over 200 programs that we do fund on an annual basis, and the volunteers are the heart of this program, if you mind me saying. I do visit those programs twice a year, and the number of people that put the effort into this project, it's amazing. And I invite you to go to your local municipalities and see these programs. In your plan, each of the municipalities are highlighted, and the dollar amounts, the time, and everything is in there. It's in the big plan that you're going to vote on, the thicker thing. Now, here are examples of some of the Alliance-funded school programs. We have the Lindsay Meyer Teen Institute. We have Project Graduation, DARE, Heroes and Cool Kids, Every 15 Minutes, and Youth Teen Alliances. Now, those, like I said, of the 200 are very few, but it just gives you an idea of what goes into it. A lot of those not only have the volunteer base, but they also have the fundraising aspect. Here are examples of some of the community-funded programs. We have senior education and awareness programs. We have community days. We have substance abuse libraries, after-school programs, summer programs, substance abuse libraries, and recreation. Now, those, like I said, are just a few of the community-wide programs that are generated through the Municipal Alliance program. We also have county funds that are separate from the $658,000 that we do provide different types of school-based and community programs with throughout the year. So I wanted to take a moment, if I could, on behalf of the Governor's Council, the Middlesex County Department of Human Services, the Lakota, Fakata, CAS, and Municipal Alliance Network, to thank you, and if I missed anyone, I'm sorry, for passing the resolution recently against the Oliver bill and for approving this plan for the past 20 years, because without you, these programs would not be in place. So I thank you on behalf of everybody.
I thank
you very much.
Rula Castaños Beaton. I'm sorry I didn't give you your last name before.
It's okay.
And I just wanted to thank you so much for this presentation. The actual Alliance update is this thick, and it details all the communities in Middlesex County that have the Municipal Alliance at heart. And I wanted to add also that there are members of our Public Health Department that volunteer as in many of these programs throughout the year. So I know Mickey Crow's sitting there, but he's only one of a number of volunteers. Thank you so much. Anybody has any questions?
Nobody has any questions?
From the board, I guess not.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, both Elliot and Rula.
Thank you.
And that ends my report.
Thank you. Under my report as director, I'd like to introduce Suzette Dato. She's a commissioner of the Cultural and Heritage, to make a presentation on historical marker. Suzette?
Freeholder Director. I would ask the others to come up, and the people from New Brunswick, please. Good evening. I'm Suzette Dato. I'm a commissioner with the County Cultural and Heritage Commission, and with me tonight is Katie Zavosky, and she coordinates the Historic Marker Program under the direction of Anna Ashkenaz. Also, we have Susan Kittredge here, the Assistant Director of the Commission, And these people are representatives from New Brunswick's Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple. The Cultural and Heritage Commission works with area communities and historic groups to promote local historic sites that are significant in the history of Middlesex County and yet may be little known to the public. With funding by the Board of Chosen Freeholders, the historic markers are installed at historic sites in the public right-of-way and on view to those walking or driving by. Tonight, we are pleased to present a historic marker for the Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple in New Brunswick. This month, the congregation is celebrating the sesquicentennial of its founding in October 1859, 150 years ago. We have brought a lightweight, actual-size version of the marker for you to see, rather than the 80-pound original. And there it is.
Very good, Susan.
Congregation Anshe Emeth was founded on October 11, 1895. It was the first incorporated Jewish congregation in Middlesex County and the fourth in New Jersey. The congregation, which followed American Reform liturgical practices, built New Brunswick's first synagogue on Albany Street in 1897. In the 1920s, as it began construction of a new synagogue on Livingston Avenue, the congregation was renamed Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple in memory of the Jewish dead of New Brunswick. The Moorish Revival-style building, designed by local architect Alexander Merchant, was dedicated in June 1930. Additions were constructed in 1964, 1978, and 2006 when the sanctuary was renovated as well. Of the 7 oldest Jewish congregations in New Jersey, Anshe Emeth is the only one that remains in the city of its founding. This plaque commemorates the sesquicentennial of Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple, and I'm most pleased to present the marker to the representatives of Anshe Emeth Memorial Temple.
Thank you very much.
And if you would introduce everyone,
I'd
please.
be happy, thank you. Thank you so much. I'll start by introducing my entourage here. Would you like to come forward? Well, okay, Nat, why don't you come? I want to introduce Dr. Nathan Reese. He's the president of the Jewish Historical Society of Central Jersey, and they are our official sponsors for this historic marker. And then I brought 3 of my officers, Mark Rothstein and Allison Warzala and Sarah Levine. Sarah grew up at Anshe Emeth, so she's seen it grow in a way that some of us haven't been there quite as long. And I'd like to introduce Andrea Tyson, who was the one who was instrumental in doing all the paperwork and the phoning and everything that, as you know, needs to be done from the practical side to kind of put a project like this into motion and keep up with what's going on with it. So that's why I asked them all to be here today. I'd love to thank the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders for this wonderful plaque and the Cultural and Heritage Commission. We are so proud to have been the recipient of this. And as you heard, this is our 150th anniversary month, so it's the most appropriate that you're giving it to us at your October meeting. I just had one little correction. We were founded in 1859, not 95, because we're 150 years old, 1859, October 11th. And as you heard, we're not only the oldest Jewish congregation in Middlesex County, but the 4th oldest in the state. And I think the thing that we really are the most proud of is that we're the only one of the oldest 7 still in the city of our founding. We never left New Brunswick, even in the 70s when the trend was for congregations to leave small cities because they were seeing hard times. Our congregation voted to stay in New Brunswick and to help rebuild it and to be part of its renaissance. And we've never looked back. We love it here. I want to just tell you some of the things that we do to contribute to the community, as well as of course being a center for Jewish celebration and Jewish living. Our congregation volunteers with the Interfaith Homeless Shelter, and we house the Overflow Shelter for 3 of the weeks during the winter in New Brunswick. We volunteer at Elijah's Promise. We volunteer in the hospitals. We have educational partnerships, such as with the Redshaw School. We had a partnership in reading. And most recently, we began the Anchiemouth Community Development Corporation, which provides free medical equipment on loan to low-income families in the area. The Baby Bell program, which provides equipment and clothing and supplies to new mothers. Sometimes a new mother is in the hospital, she has a baby, and she can't leave the hospital if she doesn't have a car seat. She knows now, they know to tell her, you call Anchiemouth Community Development Corporation, they will loan you a car seat at no charge so that you can take your baby home. If there's anything else you need, we loan them that also. And we provide legal advice to people who can't afford it also. So we're very proud of our partnership with the City of New Brunswick. We are one of the founding institutions of the city, and we're looking forward to another 150 years of life and Jewish life and community life. I do want to say, by the way, that our congregation comes from all over Middlesex County, not just the immediate New Brunswick area. We cover the whole county, so it's really most appropriate that the Middlesex County Board of Chosen Freeholders has honored us like this. So thank you so much, and we are truly appreciative, and I would like to invite you on October 11th, which is our actual 150th birthday, Sunday, October 11th, from 2 to 4. We would love to have all of you come and join us for our birthday party. We'll be out on the front steps right on Livingston Avenue. We have big steps, go all the way up, and we'll be covering them for a big photo, and we'd love to have you join us and listen to our celebration, have birthday cake with us. So thank you so much for your honoring us this way.
Thank you. Thank you very much. You got the plaque there? Very good. I know. Number 7. Thank you very much. Okay, at this time, we'll have proclamation, commendative resolutions, and correspondence. Madam Clerk, are there any commendative resolutions this evening?
Yes, we have 2 proclamations. The first is recognizing October 2009 as Childhood Obesity Awareness Month in Middlesex County. And the next is recognizing October 11th through 17th as Hispanic Business Week in Middlesex County.
Okay,
Freeholder Rios has a presentation.
Freeholder, go ahead. Freeholder.
I have a proclamation that I'm going to briefly give you a overview of what it is. And I'd like to thank Deputy Director Rafano for suggesting that we institute Childhood Obesity Month and try to encourage everyone. And it's important that we try to educate our children because we're laying the foundation for them to have healthy habits, not just eating, but exercise as well. And whereas obesity is a widespread growing problem in the United States, and overweight adolescents have a 70% chance of becoming overweight or obese adults. And the County Public Health Department is dedicated to improving the overall health of our residents through the promotion of community-based health awareness. And a campaign to combat childhood obesity seeks to foster active living and healthy lifestyles by implementing a comprehensive program and outreach and education for Middlesex County children. So we encourage everyone to promote healthy eating habits, healthy habits for children, and this way they grow up to be healthy adults and they don't have any kind of problems as adults. And I'd like to present this to John Dowd and Holly. I'm not going to Robichaux? Robichaux, yeah. I got it right? Thank you. Also, we have a PowerPoint presentation. October is Childhood Obesity Month, and we want to, again, encourage everyone to promote healthy habits. We want to educate the entire community. The parents, guardians, teachers, health educators must promote healthy living through outreach and education. And it's important that we stress that to our children. The health department provides programs such as awareness seminars, literature to schools, and outreach activities. Get Active, Eat Right, Be Healthy poster contest. We're promoting this poster contest through all the schools throughout the entire county, whether it be public or non-public schools. And it's going to be for kids grades 3 through 6. And we're going to have 12 winning entries that will be printed in a 2010 calendar, and that will be distributed throughout the county. And the winners will receive a $50 U.S. savings bond that were donated by various Elks Lodges throughout the county. And all schools must submit their entries by November 9th. And anyone that's interested, again, we will notify all the schools through their superintendents, and we will give the schools information on the contest and nutrition and exercise programs. And if anyone's interested, please contact Terry Manis at 732-745-8861. And other resources would be the County Health Department or the Center for Disease Control and Prevention. Again, I stress it's important that we teach our children healthy habits, healthy eating habits, and exercise. This way they don't grow as adults obese, and they don't have high blood pressure problems or diabetes. And again, I encourage for everyone to participate in this. Thank you. Thank you, Director.
Okay, thank you. Our next will be the commencement resolutions that are required. Margaret?
Thank you. First is recognizing the New Jersey National Guard 50th Infantry Brigade Combat Team as they return from a year-long deployment in Iraq. Next is recognizing the following individuals who will be honored at the Roberto Clemente Gala as selected by the Puerto Rican Association for Human Development Incorporated. Witham, Smith & Brown, Certified Public Accountants and Consultants as the Outstanding Corporation. Stephen Jobin of Raritan Bay Area YMCA, receiving a special recognition, and Danielle Hara of the Hispanic Statewide Chamber of Commerce, receiving recognition as the Outstanding Professional. Next is recognizing the 30th anniversary of the Triple C Housing Incorporated. Next is recognizing Senator Joseph Vitale, Sheriff Joseph Spacuzzo, and County Clerk Elaine Flynn as they have been honored by the Middlesex County Federation of Democratic Women. And last is recognizing Timothy Richard Monticchio and Brandon Baker Wildemuth of Boy Scout Troop 10 Monmouth Junction as they have achieved their Eagle Scout Awards.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the commencement resolutions?
Motion.
Motion by Blanquita Valenti, second by Ron Rios. Madam Clerk, roll call.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes, okay. Madam Clerk, please read the correspondence.
We have received a letter and a 6-page petition signed by approximately 50 area residents submitted by Galen Booth of Middlesex Borough requesting the extension of the hours of the Donaldson Park Dog Park. A copy of the Board of Trustees of Middlesex County College minutes of their meeting held August 26th. And we have 2 items that relate, I believe, to somewhat to open space. We have a letter from New Brunswick Mayor James Cahill indicating that as part of the American Recovery and Reinvestment Act of 2009, which was designed to provide investment incentives for economic development, approximately $39.5 million will be provided to Middlesex County, and the mayor is requesting that $25 million of this be provided to finance a redevelopment project in downtown New Brunswick in the area of the present Farron Mall, and requesting that a recovery zone be designated in New Brunswick. This project would include a new 60,000 square foot grocery store, a 60,000 square foot wellness and fitness center, and a 1,400 car parking garage. And a second letter from Mayor Cahill requesting the freeholders consider a grant in the amount of $3 million to the City of New Brunswick from the Open Space and Recreation Trust Fund, which would be used to develop the Public Aquatic Center as a component of the Fitness and Wellness Center being developed in conjunction with Robert Wood Johnson University Hospital.
That's it?
That's
Okay,
all.
thank you, Margaret. Is there a motion to accept the correspondence?
So moved.
Motion by Rios and second by Blanquita Valenti. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None? Are there any resolutions to be amended?
Before we go to resolutions, why don't we go back and do the ordinance?
Okay, we'll do it back.
Yeah, let's go back and do the ordinance.
Okay, we're gonna go back to the original.
Yes, just members of the board, for clarification, we have the ordinance on for second reading and adoption, but due to there being 4 freeholders rather than 5, subject to freeholder polis coming this evening, my recommendation is we have the public hearing on the ordinance so that that can be accomplished this evening since it was noticed. And to the extent that we don't have another freeholder come for the end of the meeting, we would hold the vote on that to the next meeting.
Okay, good. The clerk will read the ordinance number 385 by title only.
Notice of this public hearing was published in the Home News Tribune on September 21st, 2009. This public hearing was authorized at a meeting of the Board of Chosen Freeholders held September 17th, 2009. The title of the ordinance is Bond Ordinance Providing for the Undertaking of 2009 Capital Improvements at and for certain facilities of Middlesex County College located within the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, appropriating $2,353,000 therefore, and authorizing the issuance of $2,353,000 bonds or notes of the County of Middlesex, State of New Jersey, for financing such appropriation, the principal of and interest on the aggregate principal amount of which will be entitled to state aid pursuant to Chapter 12 of the Laws of New Jersey of 1971, and authorizing the public hearing to be held on Thursday, October 1st, 2009 at 7 p.m. and publication thereof.
Okay, I declare the public hearing open. Anybody would like to say anything on that resolution? Anybody? Nobody?
Motion to close.
Motion to close the
Second.
hearing. Rios and second by Blanquita Valenti. Okay, is there a motion to adopt ordinance
I
3?
think at this point,
should hold it?
we should determine if all were in favor of that motion and
Okay,
second.
okay.
And if so, then, as previously indicated, we will then reschedule the ordinance for adoption at the next regular scheduled meeting, which I believe is October 15th. However, if freeholder polis does arrive, as we did expect, we can still go back and vote that this evening.
Okay. Is there a motion to resume the regular order of business?
Motion.
Motion by Blanquita Valenti, second by Millie Scott. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Nobody opposed?
Aye.
Okay, what next? He showed me where to go next. Okay. Okay, Margaret,
We finished, we can go.
We've-
actually.
which one you want to go, this one?
Right here.
I
Down there,
think
okay. Is there any resolutions to be amended?
There are none, freeholder director.
Okay. Are there any resolutions to be added?
Yes, freeholder director, we have 2 resolutions proposed for addition. The first resolution is in accordance with the recommendation of Freeholder Scott, and that is to authorize termination of the intergovernmental services agreement with the United States Marshal Service regarding housing of federal detainees at the Adult Correction Center. We
Okay.
would need a motion.
We need a motion for that.
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Rios, second by Blanquita Valenti. Roll call
It's
vote.
actually Millie's.
Yeah, it's actually Millie's, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Freeholder Rios,
Yes.
Freeholder Scott,
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti,
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina.
Yeah, go one more.
Okay? Yes.
And that will be Resolution 09-1771. The next item proposed for addition as a resolution is to authorize a public hearing to be held on Tuesday, November 10, 2009, at 2 p.m. in the Freeholders Meeting Room, New Brunswick, regarding the sale of the Civic Square parking facility. Just briefly, the board will recall in the spring, we approved an agreement with the New Brunswick Parking Authority for conveyance of our portion of the parking facility across the street underneath the City Hall. This public hearing is required under the sale of public lands and the public contracts law, and this will then provide public notice and a public hearing on that for November the 10th.
Okay, we need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Millie Scott, second by
second.
Blanquita Valenti. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes.
And that will be added as Resolution 09772.
Okay. Now we're gonna go back.
We should determine the balance of the agenda, and then we can go back to the
Okay,
ordinance
what do
if
you
you
wanna
wish.
do now?
I would advise the board that there are no resolutions to be held.
Okay. Any resolutions to be voided?
Yes, Freeholder Director, Resolution 09-1682 on page 9 is to be voided as per our recommendation on Monday evening. That resolution has actually been replaced by the Resolution 09-1761, which is on the consent agenda.
Okay.
And what I would, at this point, I would recommend that we return to the ordinance in order for us to have a vote on its adoption. And I would advise Freeholder Polis that we just conducted the public hearing on the ordinance, and there was no public comment on that ordinance.
Okay, thank you.
We need a motion, right?
Yes.
We need a motion to continue.
Motion. Second.
Motion by Blanquita Valenti, a second by Ron Rios. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios? Yes. Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes. Okay, now we're,
Now, I might recommend, Freeholder Director, that since the balance of our agenda is the public portion of the consent agenda, and that Freeholder Polis has arrived, perhaps it might be appropriate to allow Freeholder Polis to give his report, if he has a report to give at this point.
you have a report, Freeholder?
I'll be brief, Director, and thank you very much. My apologies for being tardy this evening. I was at another meeting this evening. Just to announce, tomorrow morning we'll be doing an event. I know the Freeholders have been advised at Woodbridge High School. We're very pleased to be having the New Jersey State Police coming out to commemorate the new equipment that we have, our golf carts and trailers for our DRIVE program. That's the Driver Response Impaired Vision Exercise Program. To date, we've done nearly 10,000 students and adults through the driving program to teach them about the ills of trying to drink and drive. It's a very hands-on experience driving these carts through the course. And Pam Fisher from the Department of Highway Traffic Safety will also be there. They have provided us with some grant dollars for the logos and some of the decals that we've placed onto the equipment. And the high school students at Woodbridge will not only be driving through the course, Colonel Fuentes and Director Fisher will be participating in some of the programs that we have there, including some other dexterity programs that we're going to be having the kids go through. Again, with that constant message that you cannot drink and drive, you cannot even attempt to try to drink and drive. So it's a very effective program. We're happy about that. On Saturday, hopefully, weather permitting, we'll be doing a dedication of the new fields and park at Highland Park High School. And again, it's a homecoming game. And as an alumnus of Highland Park, hopefully Highland Park will do well on Saturday's game. Really excited about that opportunity. And I think that's it for tonight, Director. I don't want to take any more time since I was tardy getting here.
Okay, thank you. Now I'll open the public meeting to the public to discuss any resolutions on the agenda. Anybody would like to speak? Yes, sir.
Richard Stewart, New Brunswick. I'll make this very quick because I want to get home and listen to the debate. Page 2, there is a number 1697 talking about pressure washing on the exterior of the buildings here. Exactly where are we? Where is there a need for pressure washing on the buildings here?
Freehold Director. It's not really pressure washing. It's as part of our normal maintenance of the buildings. What we're actually doing is putting a water sealant on the building to prevent any water coming in through the walls. But it's normal maintenance on the facility. It's not power washing. It's like I said, it's basically providing a treatment on the walls for retain the water from coming into the building.
Which buildings are we talking
It's
about?
this building
This one right here?
and the prosecutor's building.
Across the street.
Yeah.
You've been there, right?
Yes,
Across the street?
yes, yes. That's my post office.
That's what I mean.
And also, that's where my police department is. I have to keep track of them. 1698. Next page. We've got, I'm curious about this replacement of 2 grinder pumps, again in the Civic Square buildings. These buildings are relatively new. Why do we have to installation of new control panel at the courthouse?
Again, on the grinder pumps, that was a recommendation made after we had the problem with the flooding last year in the courthouse. So that's the replacement of basically larger pumps. I believe the new control panel at the courthouse is for the elevators, if I'm not mistaken, but I can get that information more accurate for you. But one is really replacing the pumps to handle the water flow. God forbid we have another flooding problem in the courthouse. That's the reason for that.
Something the architects didn't anticipate, the volume of water or what?
I think it's a combination of the capacity of the New Brunswick lines handling extreme downpours, and with all the construction that's gone along around Route 18, I think it basically compounded the problem. But the reality is the anticipated potential flooding was much greater than we realized.
Thank you.
Anybody else would like to speak on any resolution? Any resolution?
Motion to close.
Yes, ma'am?
So I'd like to comment on the resolution introduced tonight by Millie Scott and say that as the my name is Karina Wilkinson from Highland Park, and I'm part of the Middlesex County Coalition for Immigrant Rights, and I support your ending the contract with ICE, and I support your not entering into the 287G program, a program that would have led to civil rights violations. We think that there's too many facilities that ICE has that they're not able to monitor what's going on. The number of detention beds has exploded to over 30,000 nationwide, and we don't have a commitment from the administration yet to reduce those number of beds, but what we want is to see fewer detention beds, fewer mandatory detentions, not treating people that are out of status as criminals, and we just support your standing up and saying no to ICE. I want to thank you for that.
Thank you. Thank you. Would anybody else like to speak, please? I know.
My name is Kathleen Feeney. I live here in New Brunswick, and I'm a local attorney. And I see our warden is here, and I do have a question. I have occasion to go into the Middlesex County Jail. I'm wondering why now it's in lockdown, number one, and number two, why the detainees are in such overcrowded conditions. Some informed me that it was to be temporary. They expected to be not so crowded by Monday, but here we are at the end of the week, and they are still in such conditions.
I think
what happened?
could answer the question, and Ed, the bottom line is we are in the process of obviously, the population at the adult correction facility has significantly been reduced from approximately the 158 we're handling now down to today, down to 42. Our expectation is that by early next week, we're hoping that all detainees will be out of our facility.
I'm sorry, by what date?
Hopefully sometime next week, all detainees would be out of our facility. Ed, I mean, that's what we're working towards, obviously. So under the situation, we are trying to we're basically in a transition state, so hopefully that will not be a long-term situation. Ed, you may want to add to that.
We're not in lockdown. I don't know what that means. Our number right now is
Thank you for the information. Thank you.
Would anybody else like to speak? Okay, is there a motion to close the public discussion?
So moved.
Motion by Rios, second by Millie Scott. Everybody say aye.
Aye.
Favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Nobody's opposed. Okay. Does any freeholder have any resolution that they wish to remove from the consent agenda and vote on separately?
I have one, Director, is Resolution 091756. That's it.
That's it? That's it. Mr. Kelster, would you read the motion?
Yes, Freeholder Director, a motion would be in order to adopt a consent agenda consisting of resolution numbers 09-1687 through 09-1772, including resolutions 09-1680 and 09-1681, which were previously held, excluding none previously voted upon or none to be held, but excluding resolution 09-1682 to be voided and resolution 09-1756 to be voted upon separately.
Okay. So this time...
Need a motion?
Huh?
Need
Yeah,
a
I need a
motion.
motion. Motion by Millie Scott, second by
Second.
Blanquita Valenti. Roll call vote.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Yes.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes. At this time, I will open the...
Excuse me, Freeholder Director, we do need to now act upon resolution 09-1756,
09.
which was set aside by Freeholder
Okay.
Valenti.
Okay, good. Need a motion.
So moved.
Motion by Rios, second by Millie Scott. Roll
Yes.
call vote.
Freeholder Polos?
Yes.
Freeholder Rios?
Yes.
Freeholder Scott?
Yes.
Freeholder Valenti?
Present, not voting.
Freeholder Director Delina?
Yes, okay. At this time, I will open the floor to the public on the anything they'd like to discuss. Yes?
Hi again, Karina Wilkinson, Highland Park. As part of our visitor program, our volunteers went to the jail tonight and were turned away. We were told that the entire jail was, I don't know if the phrase is locked down or what, but they were refused. And then they happened to run across a lawyer who was coming out of the jail, and she was saying that the whole... So you're not aware of what's happening?
We can find out.
Okay, because our understanding is that no one was allowed in at 6 o'clock tonight when we would have done our normal visit from 6 to 8 to talk to the remaining 42 or 47, whatever it is.
We'll make sure we'll correct that situation.
Okay, thank you.
Would anybody else like to say anything? Okay, is there a motion to close public discussion? Motion by
Second.
Rios, second by Millie Scott. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? None. Is there a motion to adjourn the meeting?
So moved.
Motion by
Second.
Rios, second by Millie Scott. The meeting is adjourned.